Hi everyone, today is December 30th, 2017, and this is a Duel Assessment, your podcast for Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. My name is Green Ranger.
And I'm Deck Tech.
It's almost time for 2018, so Happy New Year, everyone.
That's right.
Yep. And it's a bit of a lull again. It seems like we're saying this every week, but there isn't a ton going on in Duel Links, mostly because everyone's busy, I think, but there are a lot of new things coming to the game, including a new box, which is expected today. So, Deck Tech, what have you been up to?
Yeah, like you said, it's been a little bit hard to get into the game, I guess. There's a lot going on this time of year, and so I haven't played a ton. I've been doing the event very casually. I'm not nearly as, I'm not through it even the first time yet. And I've been grinding bones, and I've been hopping into PvP a little bit. And actually, the best deck for me that I've played was the one that you suggested last week, which was a combination of Ancient Gears and Cyber Angels. It's like a weird little hybrid that I think I went 5-0 with it so far or something. And, just very casually made it up to, I think, Legend 2. I only have about 20 wins on the season, so I'm going to try to play at least until that first super rare over these next couple days. I think I should be able to manage 10 more games, but depending on how streaky it gets, how lucky, and how it all goes, how much time I have to play, I might end up making a King of Game push, but I might just call this season a wash and be okay with that. How's about you? Where are you at?
Actually, let's talk about you for a second. Since you don't have a Hearthstone podcast, let's tell everyone what you did.
Well, okay. I hit part of the reason why I wasn't playing as much Duel Links is I was cheating on it with Hearthstone, and I did hit Legend again. This is actually my third time hitting Legend in Hearthstone, but this is the first time in a long time because, life gets in the way and work, and my new condo is a much longer commute to and from work, so I have a lot less time to play just any of my games. And then I picked up Duel Links as well this year, of course. So it was nice to get back into kind of a little bit more of a serious side of Hearthstone for 1 month anyway.
Cool. Yeah, it's a lot harder than getting King of Games in Legend. I've never even gotten it in Hearthstone, so it's just a lot more volume of games, right?
Yeah, I think the volume is certainly higher than it was I think my second King of Games when I got Cyber Angels and I got King of Games in 40 games. That's definitely not even possible on the Hearthstone side. But also, of course, Hearthstone games tend to take longer. They're 10 to 15 minute games or something like that, whereas Duel Links games can be done in 2 minutes. So it's a different type of challenge. You don't have to have a 5 in a row or anything like that, which it can definitely be its own frustrating and unique challenge, but it is more of a time commitment.
Yeah. All right. I'll talk about me now. I've been getting some games in. I should get 100 by today. I probably would have gotten it yesterday if they didn't have maintenance in the middle of the night. But 95 wins. Legend 2. If I lose another, I'll be back in Legend 1 again. So I'm kind of just bouncing around. Playing Six Samurai, that's probably the best deck I've played this month. I played over 10 decks this month. I just, didn't stick with anything. I'll get the UR ticket. I probably won't get 120 for the SR, which kind of sucks, but 2 Black Brachios is good enough, so I don't really care. Doing a lot of the PvE, and I've got Arcana. He's level 27 now, so I've just been leveling up Arcana, mostly.
Nice.
Yep. Alright, so that's us. And we're going to move on to news this week in esports. Not a lot going on this week, but we found out on Twitter, Cosmic Flare XL hosted his own Cosmic Cup 2. And the event was a bit last minute, as he noted himself. He did catch us up on Twitter about it. The 2-deck format, best 2 out of 3. 2 decks had to be different archetypes, characters, and skills, so it's kind of like the Duel Links Pro, I believe. That's how they ran their recent tournaments. And it was also interesting in that it implemented rules for upcoming nerfs. So banning Destiny Draw, Hazy, all 3-star Demotion, all Mind Skin, and limiting Dakini and Machine Angel Ritual to 2.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit weird, at least based on how I was reading the challenge page, that they banned Destiny Draw Hazy instead of just any Destiny Draw deck. But I might have been misreading that, and there weren't. We didn't get any like deck lists or anything like that, so we weren't able to see if anyone brought a different type of Destiny Draw.
Yeah. 63 players competed in the $10 prize pool and bragging rights, and included people like Yehei and Harambe Bay and other people. We don't have a ton of information, and those those challenge or whatever site they use, they don't really have the deck lists on the site. Sites typically don't have that. It's like a lot of uploading, I guess. But so we don't know who won the tournament, but a fusion deck came over Cyber Angels. Do you know anything about the fusion deck? Like, was it the Elemental Heroes, or do you know what it was?
He said, so this is based on a tweet that I saw that Cosmo put out. He said there were some insane games, a great comeback, and a fusion deck, and Elemental Heroes tech, and then it said that it beat Cyber Angel. So I don't know if that was intended to be one deck or two, or both of the person's decks, but I think it might have been Elemental Heroes fusion deck beat Cyber Angels.
Yeah, I could see it happening. Like, they didn't expect it, and they just beat them, or like they do have really powerful effects if you get them off in time, and the Cyber Angel player didn't get what they wanted and stuff like that. I could see it happening.
Yeah, I could definitely. I mean, sometimes you brick, sometimes matchups aren't exactly what you expect, and it's not unheard of, especially once you've applied the nerfs or limitations to Cyber Angels, so the Dakini and Machine Angel rituals. So we have the link to the Twitch page, which has at least some of the games up in VODs, so you guys can check it out. We haven't gotten a chance to yet because we just saw these tweets like last night, but there's some good games there and some good players like we just mentioned, so fun stuff.
Yep, check it out. Duel Links Pro, they kind of expanded. They made their own website, so it's really cool. They were kind of the offshoot of Duel Links Meta, and now they have a really cool website, kind of like a player rating page like Gasu Gamers does have, and they have all the players who competed in Duel Links Pro tournaments, Duel Links Meta, and the J Arabian Cup, I believe, and and they do have like a metric of how they calculate their scores. So it's always good to have methodology in how you do quantitative ranks, so that you could there's fair criticism for it, but you could actually see numbers and why ranks are ranked. So it's always important to have like backup for your data. And
yeah, I liked it. It makes a lot of things really exciting, and it's kind of like setting the groundwork for a lot of stuff that you love to see in the community. One of them is that this is, of course, going to encourage more players to play. Some people like to do these types of things for recognition, and so it's nice to have this rating system where you can come in and try to beat like the very best players or the highest rated players, and it's encouraging more tournaments because you kind of want to have a tournament pool that this rating system will kind of recognize. So you would want your tournaments to be of a high enough caliber with good enough players that you want it to make it onto the website to be counted. And so that means that there might be more money going into tournaments, there might be more admins, there might even be money for invites to top level players based on these ratings and stuff. So this is a lot of the groundwork that I think is kind of a precursor towards having a more robust and official Duel Links esports scene.
And it's still funny to me how grassroots it is. Like, the players did it, and Konami did nothing to do it. Like, the closest thing that's official is the Kaio Cup.
Yeah. Which is, by many accounts, like the least competitive and the least, like, it has low integrity because there's all these accusations of cheating, and, like, people are pretty unhappy with the official Kaiba Cup
Yeah.
thing. It's kind of like the necessary evil, I guess, for a lot of these high level players and for like the Reddit community and stuff. Whereas these other grassroots fan made tournaments and stuff, it's all the ones that people really care about a lot. So it's definitely a funny scene how it's developing, but it's really cool that we get to kind of be on the ground floor and see it all happen.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely a good thing to check out and be a part of if you want some recognition as a competitive Duel Links player.
Yeah, or if you just, want to know who to follow, if you want to know a little bit more about the people who we tend to mention every time. I noticed there were definitely some players whose names we recognize. The top-rated player based on their evaluation is Luller, who we've mentioned a couple times before. Second-rated player is Tut-Pup, who, of course, we all know fairly well. Third-rated player I didn't recognize, Masaryk.
I've seen him.
Do you know that name?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you've seen him around. And then there's lots of other names that we do know. Shiny Sophion, Yehei, Harambebe, Vincinity, Koizumi, and Pro Circuit Scrub were a couple that I'd recognized just immediately, and a couple others stood out as well. It's like, yeah, that sounds kind of familiar. So it's nice to see that these people who are consistently in the tournament scene are getting some recognition.
It's our chance to go in next year, make a name for ourselves.
That's right. Well, the next thing is also a good chance to make a name for yourself.
Right. The Duel Links Meta Weekly Tournaments. They announced that next year, DK has like a huge vision. If you've ever seen him talk, he has a huge vision of making Duel Links Meta huge, and doing weekly tournaments. And this is kind of the first step for that. There's the $2 buy-in for these weekly tournaments go into the prize pool, so the money goes back to the winners, and they do give a cut to like the second, third, and I think top 8 typically for the tournaments.
I think this announcement said top 4, but maybe if they have a big enough one, they'll give it to top 8 as well.
Yeah, those are the MCSs, I guess. The weekly ones are top 4, I guess.
Yeah.
And they typically take place in the middle of the week, though, so not everyone can participate. But there's going to be one every week, and it's great for people who just want to try out a tournament. It's more casual than the MCS, just because there's a lower money pool, and there's probably lower competition just because it's not on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, and it's specifically kind of advertised and intended to be open for anyone. It says casual and competitive and fun community, everyone can join. If you are a platinum player, you can join. If you're a new player, you can join. So I think the specific intent is to make these kind of as big as they can and as inviting as they can, kind of like a Friday Night Magic equivalent, I guess, where every single week people are going to be coming over to the Duel Links Meta tournament if they want to maybe plan their schedule around it and make it happen.
Yep. So this is more geared for the casual player if you're listening and want to try out a tournament. So definitely check it out. Twitch.tv/DuelLinksMeta.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get to the meat of today's podcast, and that's the new box, Primal Burst, which will probably be out a few hours after you listen to this podcast, or if you listen to this tomorrow, it is already out. So the last few boxes haven't been too impactful, I think. They kind of strengthened the burn meta, and Gladiator Beasts were the main deck to come out of the second to last box, I believe.
Yeah, the 6 Sam have made a small impact as well, right?
Yeah, a little, yeah.
But you're right. Neither one has really been huge.
So this is the one that's going to come with the nerfs. I mean, the nerfs are going to come after this box is out, but it's impactful just for that. And there's a lot of new stuff. So let's see if this new stuff is enough. We talked about these. We didn't get the full list last week, but we kind of knew what kind of things were in it. Dark World cards are in it. And Redditor Frapplejack wrote a great post about Dark World, and knowing the difference between discard for effect and discard for cost. This is something I did not know. Basically, the Dark World cards only activate on discard for effect. And a good example is, what's that card? Tribute to the Doomed is a discard for cost. So you can't use Tribute to the Doomed for a Dark World card, because it's a cost, it's not an effect. The card Dark World Lightning reads target one set card on the field, semicolon, destroy that target, comma, then discard one card. So that the ability is dependent on targeting that one set card. If it's flipped, you don't get that effect off. You don't destroy the target, you don't discard a card. So that is the problem with knowing the difference between the two things. There are some other cards that do help discard for effect, like Trance Archfiend, which fits because it's a fiend, first of all, and it gets stronger. So you could help trigger Dark World and increase the attack of Trance Archfiend. Drag Down to the Grave is a level 38 Shizu magic card. Bone Temple blocks a trap card. Rigorous Reaver, and also a trap card called Dark Smog. So there's not that many of them that discard from hand. But Saphira, if you're facing a Saphira and they force a discard on your hand, that would work as well.
Yeah, but I think you wouldn't. If you're Saphira and you have Dark World out, you wouldn't.
You do the other two effects.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point about the phrasing or the way that things are written in cards. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh's kind of had this history of iffy language on some of their cards. So it's important to figure out these distinctions. Of course, when we're playing the game, it kind of helps you out with that a bit, because cards will be either playable or not. But this will help explain why things are happening the way they are. And obviously, if you're in a situation that you've never been in before, it's nice to have a little bit of an indicator as to how it's going to go.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of these cards. Dark World Lightning. This is the UR I just mentioned. And, it's really high risk, high reward. If they flip a card, it doesn't activate. But if you target a monster, it's always going to work, I think. Like, you can't you can't flip up your monster. But monsters are usually in attack mode sometimes, unless they're like a burn deck or something. And, it's going to be a staple. It's a UR in a 200 card box, so it's expensive. There's a lot of problems with this card, but it's also a very good card.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, the problem that things can be flipped in response to it makes it a bit weaker. I don't have it in front of me. Is it a quick play, or is it
normal speed?
Yeah, so that makes it a lot weaker in my opinion. But the fact that you can target monsters is solid. There's not a ton of flip monsters in this game, but from back when I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, there were a lot that people did use. So it's fairly powerful, but I'm not too convinced at this point. I don't think I'm going to run it.
It has a floor, though. It lets you force an early activation on a card. So, like, you could force their mirror wall, like, a turn early if you're not attacking, stuff like that. It has, like, a low floor, but it destroys Wall of D, which is good, so, things like that.
Yeah, that's true. There are now a lot of the more powerful traps in recent sets are the ones that you only use during the combat phase, and there is, like you said, significant value to activating other ones earlier, because then they can't 2-for-1 you in a different way for the mirror wall, for instance, or they have to pay extra life for it or something. So there's definitely some uses for it. I'm sure other people will use it. I might even end up changing my mind and using it, but right now I'm still not quite convinced.
Yep. UR card Snow, Dark World card 1700 attack, 0 defense. So basically what it does is if it's discarded, you get to add a Dark World card to your hand. And then if it's discarded by your opponent's effect, you get an additional ability of resurrecting a monster from your graveyard. So, yeah.
Man, talk about cards that are written, like, oddly.
This is the worst,
Yeah, and in my opinion, poorly, because this card is just hard to parse. But, yes, that's a good summary of what it does. And so now you guys know. Don't try to read the card. Just come here and read the show notes or listen to the show.
If you're playing Dark World, definitely get this card. That's that's what it is.
Yeah.
Ceruli, SR card. This is also a good card. When you discard it with a Dark World effect, you can give it to your monster, and then you get to discard another card. So you give it to your monster. Give it to your opponent. They get this 100 attack, 300 defense guy, and then he forces your opponent to discard, which is you. So you get a discard of another Dark World card, basically.
Yeah.
Rainbow, we talked about this guy last week. He's just a rare, but Rainbow's ability is to, when it gets discarded by a Dark World effect, you either destroy all of your opponent's monsters or all of their traps and spells. It's definitely worth mentioning just for that. It could just be a one-of in a Dark World deck, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
In Dark Smog, continuous trap card. Once per turn, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, discard a fiend, and if you do, banish that target. So this kind of helps you discard your Dark World cards and also banish cards from the graveyard, which counters resurrection effects.
Yeah, because after the nerfs to Cyber Angels, maybe the resurrection effects will become super relevant again.
Yeah, I see a lot of Phoenix on the ladder. I don't know about you.
I haven't seen a lot of anything on the ladder because I haven't played a ton on the ladder. I played one Phoenix.
But like res, because of bones, that could just be a relevant thing as well. So maybe.
Yeah.
Talk about volcanics. Yehei on Discord mentioned that volcanics can work as a package, so you could put like 7 cards into Ancient Gears, like a volcanic control package. So that's something you could do with it. It doesn't have to be its own deck. But when they're in their own deck, you can use a card called Royal Firestorm Guards, which is a card from the DD Tower, the first DD Tower. And it kind of recycles your Pyro monsters, and it's a 1700 attack guy, so it's pretty good.
Cool.
Alright, Volcanic Rocket. We talked about how good this card is. 1900 attack Pyro and a tutor for Blaze Accelerator. Definitely a very good card.
Yep, definitely.
Blaze Accelerator is that control card. It's a magic card. Where is it? My dueling book is messed up. But it basically lets you discard a 500 defense or lower Pyro to destroy a monster each turn. And the ammunition for it is Volcanic Shell, which is a rare, but it's 100 attack, 0 defense, and it's the Pyro you discard. And once per turn, you can pay 500 life points and add it from your deck to your hand, so you could tutor it as well. Oh, it must be in the graveyard for that to happen. So,
right, yeah. I like the recursion. I like bringing stuff back. That's always one of my favorites. I like card advantage. It's funny because the whole Dark World thing is like taking advantage of anti-card advantage. So it's all very like, every single time I look at one of the Dark World cards, it makes me like cringe a little bit internally because it's like discarding your own stuff to try to get effects, powerful effects. And so this bringing things back into my hand, adding things to my hand, it feels a lot more natural to me. I'm feeling better.
Yep. So you're not a discard lock player at all. It's kind of like what it is.
I guess so.
Yeah.
If there's I haven't looked through all of them yet, but if there's a Malkazar's, if there's a Malkazar's Imp version, then I'm good with it.
There's a card, when this card inflicts battle damage, you can draw a card. Oh yeah, there's a Huntsman. Let me look up the Huntsman first. My dueling book is really messed up right now. I'm sorry. Why does it take me forever to find this card?
I mean, I can help.
I don't even know what he's called, though. That's the problem.
Oh. Okay, maybe I can't help then.
He's holding a bow, I think. Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, his name is Bro, the Huntsman of Dark World.
Yeah,
read
right? What he does. Yeah, read what he does.
All right. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, draw one card, plus another card if this card was discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect.
Malkazar's Imp right here.
Yeah,
Sort
there
of.
you go. Kind of.
Yeah, sort of. But this looks like a good card for Dark World too, just to draw cards, like because you're losing so many cards as you mentioned.
Right, and this one works particularly well with the whatever his name was, Cyril.
Yeah, and this is just like a R or N, I forget, but it's cheap. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, let's move on to Gem Knights. Gem Knights are a fusion class, so that kind of makes them weaker on their own, but they're not contact fusion. They need polymerization to fuse. That's important. That they have one turn kill upside though, so that's something that's exciting about them. They're really fast.
That's always fun.
Yep. So that kind of makes them like either really good or YouTube, right? Like if they're like one turn kill.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Cyber Angels have the one-turn kill, which makes them very good for the latter because you can just play a ton of games really quickly, and if you get the right draw, you just win on the first turn. And so that's one of the upsides of this one-turn kill potential. But the other upside for Cyber Angels is that it's super consistent. So the question is, how frequently can you really rely on getting that one-turn kill?
Yep. Gem Knight Prismora is a SR fusion. It is a Thunder 2450 1400. Fuse a Gem Knight and a Thunder. Once per turn, you can send a Gem Knight from your hand to the graveyard, target one face-up card on the field, and destroy a target. So it has that ability, to destroy stuff. And a bunch of the Gem Knights are Thunder, and I've seen people build decks with Thunder Dragon. So it helps thin out the deck, and,
And it gives you fuel for the discard thing as well. So I saw the Thunder Dragon as well. I saw that synergy as well. I like it. Seems interesting. I'm willing to give this one a try for sure.
Yep. And this is one of the one-turn kill cards, sort of. Gem Knight Citrine. It's a rare fuse a Gem Knight and a Pyro. Itself is a 2200 1950. If this card is attacks or attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So it's like an Ancient Gear card, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's like other pieces. You can't see why it's a one-turn kill card now, but there's like other reasons for it. And the card Gem Knight Garnet is actually a 1900 attack, and it's a fusion. It's a Pyro and a Gem Knight, so it kind of works as both of the fusion materials here for this guy.
Nice.
So it's very easy to get this guy, I guess. That's one. Gem Knight Ruby is not as good. It's 2500 attack fusion. Once per turn, you contribute a Gem Knight. This monster gains attack equal to that monster's attack, and it inflicts piercing.
Yeah, so that's just a lot of damage output.
Yep. And this is the piece that can make it a one-turn kill. Fragment Fusion. All right, what does Fragment Fusion do?
Banish from your graveyard the fusion. It's a trap, first of all.
Okay.
Banish from your graveyard the fusion material monsters that are listed on a Gem Knight fusion monster card. Then special summon that fusion monster from your extra deck. This special summon is treated as a fusion summon. Destroy it during the end phase. So that you set it up the turn before, of course, because it's a trap. But that lets you essentially fusion twice for the same materials. So I could definitely see a huge amount of burst potential there. It also counts as extra polymerizations, which is, nice. We don't need as much redundancy now since we have other ways to get extra polymerizations, but redundancy is always nice for any deck, really, for consistency's purpose, but especially if you're trying to kind of get a combo type deck, you want as much redundancy as you can.
Yep. And Citrine is uncounterable with spells and traps, so that's kind of the guy you bring back. I think it kind of works well.
Nice.
Yep, those are Gem Knights, and they're pretty cheap. The most expensive one is Master Diamond, and he's apparently the worst one, so you don't have to worry about getting the UR. So
nice.
Yep. All right, here are the Lightsworns. At first, I didn't like these at all. But then I saw one of their cards, and it makes it work a little better. So it makes them a bit better than I thought they were. All I was telling you how much I didn't like these cards, but
Yeah.
they, as a reminder, they're a light attribute. They self-mill. At first you see self-mill, it doesn't look too good. But let's talk about what they do. There's Jane Lightsworn Paladin. It's basically one of these cards that self-mills, but it becomes 2100 during the battle phase. So it's like a 2100 attack warrior, and it mills 2 cards during the end phase.
It's during your battle phase, though, right?
Yeah, so only when you attack, yeah.
Right. So they'll probably clear it on the next turn, but having a 2100 beater is not bad.
Yeah, it's like Cyber Dragon, so which isn't in the game, so.
Yeah.
Dragonif, Lightsworn Dragon. This is 2,000, 1,600, 6 stars. So it gains 300 attack and defense for each Lightsworn monster in your graveyard with a different name. If it attacks a defense monster, inflicts piercing. During your end phase, send 3 cards. Mill 3 cards. So, it's a card that just gets stronger, but it's not worth it on its own, It's just, you'll need 2 Lightsworns to make it like a 2,600. With 1, it's just worse than like a 2,400, so.
Mm-hmm.
Gareth, Lightsworn Warrior. 1850, 1,300 attack. Each time a card is sent to your deck, from your deck to the graveyard by the effect of a Lightsworn monster, you can send 2 more cards from your deck to the graveyard and draw 1 for each Lightsworn monster. So this is a bit of a draw engine, and it has decent stats on its own, too.
Yeah, but man, are you going to run out of cards quickly.
You are, yeah.
The Lightsworn, because most people are running 20-card decks in this game because you can, and it can go by very quickly if you're milling like 5 at a time.
Would there be a reason to run 30 with this archetype, or no?
I haven't yet seen one, but you
We'll
haven't
see.
told us about all of them yet.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten through the rest of them on my own. So,
Yeah.
what do you think? Are there any in here that kind of feel like it?
It's the field spell. That might be okay. Realm of Light. Each time a card is sent to the deck from your graveyard, place 1 shine counter on this card. All Lightsworn monsters gain 100 attack for each shine counter. If this card would be destroyed by a card effect, remove 2 shine counters from this card. So this makes them really big, right? If you keep milling stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were just talking about how you can get rid of like 4 in one turn very easily with just that one card. And so, this makes sense to me because now you have a way to end the game very quickly before you mill yourself to death. So I like it. It's a cool card. And I like that it protects itself too.
The problem is that it's a field that doesn't come with a skill, so you have to not mill this card, and you have to draw it. I guess that's the tough part.
Yeah. And then I guess maybe you would run 30 here to make it kind of work. You can maybe do 3 Realm of Light, 3 of, I forget what it's called, but the Pathfinder. And if you have enough of these Lightsworn guys to make that work, then maybe you can. But I'm not sure if we have enough. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
You're kind of playing with the razor's edge there because you want to get as many things as you can to your graveyard so that your guys are buff, but then you only have like 1 or 2 turns of attacking with it before you commit yourself to death. So it's interesting. I'll probably try it out and play with it and see if I like it. I like decks that require some sort of deck building challenge or that make you think of deck building differently, even if it's not like particularly difficult to do, but just as you guys might recall from a while back, I was obsessed with merchant decks for a long time. Every week I was playing a new merchant deck. So that was, of course, a 30-card deck. And this could be too, depending on how we want to build it. We'll see.
That was a time when we didn't care about King of Games, right? It was a simpler time.
Yeah, a simpler time.
Yeah, but these cards are pretty... you see those cards, they look like garbage, but then you see the field spell, and it's like, oh, they might have something here. That's just what I came across.
Yeah, I figured there had to be some sort of downside, or reason to make the huge downside into an upside, because the cards were not good enough on their own for the downside to be worth it. But once you're flipping that downside into an upside, then it becomes like a bit more of a calculated risk than just a downside.
Yep. All right, these have no like upside. The Cloudians, they can't be destroyed in battle, but if they're flipped into the defense mode, they get destroyed. So, like all of our back row flip stuff, almost all of it, like most decks.
Yeah, exactly. Like, have you ever heard of Sphere Karibo, Windstorm, all of those things? All right.
So these guys aren't too good, but they might have some uses in stall decks. Like, let's say you put like a one of in attack mode or something, or defense mode, and it just stays there. They might have some use, like not themselves as a theme, but maybe they might have some stall ability.
I like that. So instead of like attacking with them and putting yourself at risk for all these various things that negate attacks and flip positions, you have them as like a wall. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, it's like a Spirit Reaper sort of deal.
Yeah, right. So then the only issue is like econ, but other than that, I mean, that's cool.
Yep. So I'm not gonna cover them just because they kind of suck. Now the Jiracs. The Jiracs are dinosaurs that are on fire, so that's just cool on its own. Just for having that. We already have one Jirac. Do you know this card? We have one.
Yeah, I remember it. We got it.
It's not that good because it's like a 2 tribute guy.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really remember what he did, but
yeah, I think he gains attack when he destroys something. He's like 2600, so it's like, or 2800. I forget. It's like weaker than Blue Eyes, but we're getting the backup here, the platoon here. Jirac Guaiba. What does this guy do? 1700 attack, 400 attack, 400 defense dinosaur. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon a Jirac with 1700 attack or less from your deck, but it can't attack this turn. So it's like Hydrogeddon, but worse because they can't keep attacking. But it adds the number of Hydrogeddons, and it's not the worst thing in the world to have more monsters on the board, and you could use like econ to steal the opponent monster or something like that.
Yeah.
That's an SR though. Jirac Hera. This is just a rare card. It's the one with 2 cannons on its back. Oh, here it is. Okay. 2300 attack, 1500 defense, 6 stars. When a defense position Jirac you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. So it could be like a free 2600. That's its upside.
Yeah, and it kind of counters the, I guess like the counterplay to the dinos as you flip them into defense position. They're significantly weaker.
Right. Yeah.
Most of them anyway. And so this kind of counters the counterplay.
Yep.
That's something.
Jirac Terra. Here it is.
This one's just Moltres.
No, it looks like Moltres, but the Aerodactyl. It's like an Aerodactyl Moltres.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Aerodactyl's the old, prehistoric dinosaur thing, but like the art looks like Moltres.
Oh yeah, the way it's like facing the air, right?
Yeah,
sort of. Moltres reminded me of Nephis, sort of. Or is that Ho? I'm completely messed up here.
I mean, Moltres is the original Firebird. Ho-Oh's like the Sunbird or something. I don't know. I played a lot more Gen 1 than Gen 2. Anyway, Duelist.
Terra. Jirac Terra, 800 attack, 1500 defense. If this card is attacked, return the attacking monster to the hand after damage calculation, and this card gains defense equal to the returned monster's level times 100. So it only gains defense if it stays on the board, but it always returns a monster, and it's just an N, so it's very good.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
and,
like
1500's okay as a base defense. Yeah, I mean, maybe you'll have to protect it with a half shut or a mirror wall or something to really get it going, but it's not like unheard of. Senjus have less than that. Other things can attack into it and think they might be able to get over it and just not. Of course, bouncing a Senju is probably worse than them taking 100 and making your Patera slightly stronger. So there's that.
And the other bounce cards in the game are URs. I think both Gale Lizard and Hain are both URs. So it's a very cheap ability to bounce. That's what's good.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. 6 Sams. They got a few new cards with these Bushido effects.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to find the card. Okay, Shen's Daredevil. It's a 4-star 1600,000 warrior. When this card's normal summon and place a Bushido counter on it, this card gains 300 attack while it has a Bushido counter. So it's like a 1900. Once per turn, you can target one face-up card on the field. You can place a Bushido counter on, remove the counter on this guy, and place on that card. So
cool.
Yep. I don't think he's a 6 Samurai though. Hand of the 6 Samurai is one, but I don't think this guy is.
Yeah, I doubt it. Usually the way Yu-Gi-Oh does it is based on the name, and then some cards, because like some cards even have like a totally different name, but it just happens to have that word in it, and then it'll say this does not count as that. So I think it's most likely based on the name, unless there's like text in the card that says it counts as, and this has neither, so I don't think it is.
Nope. Temple of the 6. This is a field spell. Each time a 6 Samurai is summoned or normal summoned, place a Bushido counter on this card. Monsters your opponent control lose 100 attack for each counter. So it's like Wonder Balloons as a field.
Yeah, it's also similar to the one that we were just talking about for the self-mill deck. It's like the inverse version.
Yep. It's okay. Yeah. Shen's Dojo. I cannot find this card.
Alright, let's see.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Continuous magic card. Each time a 6 Samurai is normal summoned or special summoned, place a Bushido counter. We're getting in a theme here. Bushido counter on this card. You can send this card to the graveyard. Special summon 1 6 Samurai or Shen effect monster from your deck whose level is less than or equal to the number of counters on this card. Ooh. So it's kind of like Ancient Gear Castle, but it takes longer.
Yeah,
do you like it?
But yeah. Also, though, it pulls it from your deck, which is also interesting.
So I'm gonna get rid of this text right here.
Well, yeah. I don't know. We could disagree. I don't know. I like it. I didn't. So you're currently playing 6 Samurai. I tried it out for like a hot minute, maybe a handful of games, and I just didn't really like the archetype very much. But maybe this will swing it in a way that I do like it more, and perhaps that version of it is weaker though, and the version that I don't like as much is the stronger one. So
the version I'm playing has all of the hot back row you would want, and it's faster than a control deck. That's what I like about it. It's because you get your guides to destroy the back row. Instead of dinosaurs, you're waiting for that Electro. You're waiting forever for an Electro to lock down the back row, and then they win. So that's what I liked more about 6 Samurai than dinosaurs.
Mm.
Yeah. 6 strike Thunder Blast. This is a trap card. If I could find it. Man, I really should put these cards in order.
Alright, well I got it up on Google.
Right. What does it do?
Google's my friend. Alright, so like you said, it's a trap card, and it reads, remove 1 Bushido counter from your side of the field to activate one of these effects. First one is target 1 monster your opponent controls and destroy it. And the second effect is target 1 card your opponent controls and return that to their hand.
Yep. It seems like it's cheap removal and it's free because all these cards do add those counters to things.
Yeah, I mean, the question is whether you want to sacrifice a counter for this, because it, for instance, makes the Shin's Daredevil essentially useless if you take off his counter there.
Right.
But you might have extra counters on, like, the dojo, where you only have things that are up to, I forget how big the biggest boss monster for the
7?
samurai is, but yeah, you only have 7, but it has 8 counters, so then it's free because you don't need that 8th counter. Um, so, yeah, I could see that getting some play. It's nice to have some destroy effects. I don't think it's the most powerful. I think you would maybe rather just run a super rush or any of the other ways that you can disrupt their monsters, but
Yeah.
it's definitely within the conversation.
All right, let's go through some of the cards that have no theme. Spell Striker, 600 attack warrior. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing a spell from your graveyard. This card can attack your opponent directly. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. So I saw this card and I thought, mind's eye burn, sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of like a one-trick pony though, because it's a special summon when you summon him. Is that what you said?
Yeah, with the magic
spell?
card. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's nice. It gives you 2,000 that turn, and so the fact that he stays on the field and isn't like protected by his own bounce or remove effect like the other monsters in the deck are wouldn't matter as much because you're probably only using him on the turn that you're killing your opponent, or at least expecting to kill your opponent. So I like it.
Yep. Kaiser Glider. This is an SR. Oh yeah, the previous card was a UR. This one's an SR. 2400 attack dragon with 2200 defense. Cannot be destroyed by battle if a monster has the same attack. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target one monster in the field and return it to the hand. So it will beat like a 2400. Like if they're fighting each other, this guy would just kill a tie fight, so that's useful. But they usually run beatdown, like Crowler or Kaiba uses beatdown, so they'll beat it. It does have a bounce effect though, so it kind of negates that it costs a tribute, I guess.
Yeah, it's decent.
Doesn't really fit anywhere though. That's my problem with it. Go one tribute dragon, like where's that gonna go? Like,
yeah, it's a little bit of a weird thing. Yeah. Sorry, before we move on, one more thing though is that the Spell Striker is yet another card to help you with one tribute monsters because it's a free summon.
Free summon, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's good. It's a good card.
I feel like every set they try to put like one more way that you can make a one tribute monster possible, and it's possible that these two cards kind of combo together.
It's going to be the BES meta. All those BES cards are going to come out. They're just going to destroy us. Yeah,
that's true. Those might be better as far as one tribute monsters go.
Yep. Mist Archfiend, 2400 attack, 0 defense, 5 stars. You can normal summon this card without tributing a monster. If you do this during the end phase, it is destroyed and you take 1,000 damage. So this is like a really big charge guy in some card games, and then they destroy themselves. I've seen this. I think they exist in Magic, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Everything exists in Magic. It's like the Simpsons of the card game world. Like, Magic did it.
This is probably the worst in dueling stuff.
Right, so that's a good point. This exists in other card games, but in Duel Links there are several ways that you can prevent an attack for one turn, and so you get a lot less of the benefit for this type of card, and it's very easy for you to pretty much just get hit with the downside. So at first I was really excited when I saw this guy. I was like, oh, it's another like handless beatdown type card. But then I saw your review and you're like, this isn't so good in Duel Links, and I'm like, damn, bro, you're right.
You know what? I do play a lot of handless, and you just storm the board and you're golden.
Yeah, I mean that's the point, right? Is that it's another one of those cards where the downside isn't supposed to matter because you're only supposed to play it on the turn when you're winning with it. But I think your original point that it's very easy to kind of counter in this game based on the card pool that we have and the cards that are fairly common. So I don't think it will have a very big impact.
Right, it's just the filler SR.
Yeah.
Dark Nephis. We're just going to mention this because Nephis is played a lot. It's a SR as well. 2400 attack, 1600 defense. If you have 3 or more dark monsters in your graveyard and this card in your hand, you can banish 2 of them and send this card to the graveyard. During your next standby phase, after this card was sent to your graveyard, you can special summon it from the graveyard. When this card is special summoned, target one spell or trap and destroy it. So this is worse than the original in every single way. But the good thing about it is it fits in some of the dark decks where they have the extra monsters in the graveyard with nothing to do, and it works there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way that I was going to say that it's not worse, is that it fits more easily into things. You don't have to build an entire deck based around it. So I think it's possible that it sees some play, but you're right. For a lot of reasons, it's worse than the original in a lot of ways. And just, I suck for bouncing around so much, but I just remembered something. For the last guy, can you use the chalice on him to kind of silence him so you don't get the downside and you just get a beefy guy?
It depends which end phase counts first, right?
Yeah. So, I don't know.
That's a good question. Yeah. Consult the rulebook for that one.
Yeah, or we'll just try it when the set comes out later.
just toss a game, just lose a game, see what happens.
Yeah, Bella needs a win every once in a while.
Yeah, that's true. Earth Armor in Ninja, 1600, 1200, 5-star ninja. If your opponent controls a monster and you control none, you can special summon this from your hand. Well, it's like Cyber Dragon. You know, it doesn't look too good, but ninjas are getting nerfed, so it's just important to know what this is. It exists.
Yeah, so this is, again, I feel like just a broken record here, but this is yet another way to make one tribute monsters better. So I'm excited about this as well. I always love ways to kind of ramp up to stuff, and especially, as you point out, after 3-star gets nerfed, there's going to be more reasons for you to need to do that instead of just cheating them out with your skill. So I think this guy's actually fairly solid. I don't know if it'll see play. It depends entirely on whether you want that ramp potential, I think. But I like it. I'm always excited to see cards like this.
They do run Senior Silver Ninja, and that's a 1 tribute, so that could help for that card, for sure.
There you go.
Yeah. And the last card, Sage of Stillness. This is just an N, 1400 attack, 1000 defense. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, your opponent cannot activate trap cards during the next turn. So, this kind of reminds me of that card, Desideer of Rituals. Back then, when they used Relinquished all the time, I was so confused as why I couldn't destroy, I couldn't use a trap on Relinquished. But it was like they did something the previous turn to summon him. So this guy has a sneaky ability of that.
Yeah, kind of. When it says next turn, it means their turn, right?
Yeah, next turn, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people, it's not super relevant because a lot of traps are activated on your turn anyway. So, you're attacking, you get to block them on their turn, but they weren't probably going to use a trap on their turn anyway. And then on your next turn, when you want to negate the traps, they're back to being available. So,
Yeah.
But, whatever.
It's just an N, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we're done with the set. It's going to come out later today. And we're going to buy it, because we have gems. So.
Yeah, probably.
Alright, Duelist Chronicles. It's going to end on the 8th. I'm done with it. It was much shorter than I expected. It's only 4 zones. And they do have the 2 duels in each zone. I predicted all of them last week, but then there were some that didn't happen, and they just wrapped it up in a cutscene. Tristan's nowhere to be seen.
How sad are you?
I accepted it by halfway through. I was like, "Oh, he's not going to come."
Oh, rip.
Something's funny though. Let's talk about censorship. How much do you want to talk about censorship?
Whatever you're feeling for it.
All right. So Merrick wears an undershirt. You see him? He wears an undershirt, right? And in the anime, he doesn't. And then a cutscene. They showed the manga things now. I don't know if you're aware of that. They show Bakura licking a knife, right after. He's, drawing blood from his tongue. And it's they censor that, but then they don't censor that. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. America, maybe that's just our version, because America's always been more hung up on nudity than violence, so...
It's true. That's why all these cards in the anime have horrible, Microsoft Paint things.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do get some new cards like Panther Warrior and Little Wind Guard. I might be missing another card, but there's free SRs, and you just keep rolling the boxes for them. They're free stones, so
Yeah.
and a lot of gems from the boxes as well. So
Yeah, I gotta get back in there. I haven't gotten very far into it, but it's kind of a medium interest event for me whenever they do these Duelist Chronicles, because it's a lot more engagement than just like auto dueling. But so then I have to choose whether I want to spend my time actually doing this versus playing PvP. But it's kind of like, I don't know, halfway engagement, because you could then auto duel like the individual event fights, a lot of them. So, and then I always end up with about 1 million extra dice because I spend all day auto dueling and then don't use it all. So I'm pretty much failing at this event, but I'll get it done before it's gone.
I think each round you get like 1,600 coins, and I only met like one of the 3 conditions because I didn't feel like doing all the conditions.
Yeah.
So you get like 1,600 each time. It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And then you also get Arcana playable for completing the first round. He has a lot of Dark Magician cards.
I definitely need to do all of that to get Arcana.
Yeah, mine's like level 27 or anything.
Yeah, I've been sitting on Bones instead, but I should I'm definitely going to grab him probably later today.
Yeah, definitely. It's important to do at least one round. And he has a lot of the Dark Magician cards. They're new. And, all the gems and skills. Let's talk about the skills quickly. Show of Nightmares. It would have been a good idea to look up what the skills do before I went into this thing. Show of Nightmares can be activated if you have 3 or more spell cards with different names in your graveyard. Randomly add 1 spell card in your graveyard to your hand. This can only be used once per duel.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on having 3 spells in your graveyard. Typically, you'll have like Econ, and it's a lot easier for certain decks than others. Like if you run like a lot of one-ofs.
Yeah, I mean it's a powerful effect to add a card to your hand, but having 3 different spells in your graveyard is, I mean, except for maybe for a burn deck. They play a lot of spells. A lot of decks only really play 1 or 2 spells, so you have to build your deck very specifically to work for this. I guess Cyber Angels is another deck that tends to run at least 3 different spells.
For now.
But, well, now it is. I mean, once the nerfs go live, that is. So, I don't know. It seems like there's probably some deck that's going to use and abuse it, but it's not like an obviously powerful skill that everyone's going to use or anything like that, because you have to build your deck very specifically for it.
Right. A trick up the sleeve. Your starting hand will include 1 level 7 or higher Dark Spellcaster monster randomly selected from your deck. This skill will not activate if your deck does not contain any level 7 Dark Spellcasters. So you start with the card in your hand: Dark Magician of Chaos, Gravekeeper's Oracle, or Dark Eradicator Warlock, or Cosmo Queen. That's it for this game.
Yeah. So I think Dark Magician, obviously there's some uses there, and the Gravekeeper, there's some uses there. I don't actually even know what the Dark Eradicator Warlock is. Is that just a beefy guy?
It was that burn guy. I forget what he... Like, we didn't care about getting him from Arcana. That guy.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, I don't know.
And,
You're getting... Tutor effects are always cool. So if you build your deck specifically around a card, now you have it in your hand. So that's nice. And
you could actually special summon Dark Magician for free now. Well, not for free, but level 40 Arcana gives you Dark Magic Curtain, and you pay half your life points to special summon Dark Magician.
There you go. That's OP.
Master of Magicians can be used after your life points decrease by 2,000. Randomly add 1,000 knives, Dark Magic Attack, or Dark Magic Expanded to your hand. This skill can only be used once per duel.
Yeah, so I like this one. It's like the Pegasus creator skill. And like you said, if you play the magic curtain, then you get to activate this as well, which gives you another
nice.
powerful card. So, there's a huge difference between the powerful cards. I hope that it works similarly to the creator skill, where it's based on kind of the board state, which one it gives you. So that would make it a little bit of a better skill, because right now I'm a little bit unsure if you'd want to. If you could use it multiple times per duel, then it'd be super good, but since it's limited to once, you need to make sure that it definitely hits. So, I hope that it's good.
I think they're careful while making skills too good now. Like,
yeah.
They are, yeah.
I think they decided, I think they wanted all the skills to be roughly on the power level of the skills that, like Power of the Dark, that have the field spell on at the start of the game, and they kind of messed up on a few. And so now they're kind of toning it down a bit.
Yep. And he also comes with Power of the Dark, Spell Specialist, Draw Sense Dark, stuff like weaker spells. So there's a pick a gift campaign where you pick one of 3 prizes, and you get to pick gems and SRs, and also there's a new card. Onikuji, it's a trap card. Once per turn during your standby phase, your opponent declares one card type. Excavate the top card of your deck. Then if it's that type of card, your opponent draws 1 card. Otherwise, discard 1 random card from their hand. Place the excavated card on the bottom of your deck.
Cool. I mean, I don't know if I'm really going to. I don't really see any immediate use for it, but new cards are always cool.
Yep. And Spiral Spear Strike is a card we get, I think, from leveling up Yugi, and now we can get 3 of them. I passed on the third. I passed on the first one, and I got a rare ticket, so I'm only getting 2 of these. But it's not that playable unless you have a better version of Gaia, the Dragon Champion.
Yeah, I ended up just getting it because, I don't know, I couldn't think of the things that are the rare tickets, and I didn't know if it was better or not, so I went with the card, and I was like, whatever. But like you said, I don't expect it to really see any play or anything.
Yeah, when I got it, I didn't realize that we only had 1, so that's why I picked the rare ticket.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, because we're the dual assessment, we have to say that there's a new dual assessment category in Divine. When you normal summon a Divine monster, you get 1,000 dual assessment. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
So maybe that's a new benefit for farming. You can use which one do we have? We have raw.
Raw farm, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
And raw does he negates the spells, I think, for 1 turn. Well, they all do that, but it's okay for something. Well, you can't get the vassal down. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work.
Someone smarter than us will figure it out, and then we'll let you guys know about it.
Reddit crowns the best posts of the year. So there's a post about the best posts on the subreddit. What are our favorite memories of Duel Links this year, since the year is wrapping up?
Yeah, so one of them here is I totally agree with. A couple of them I didn't really know or just disagreed with, but the first one that they have, which is the best Duel Links related meme, is the drawing someone did of Kaiba having flipped over his chair, and he's shouting at Bella, who's clearly a child, and that she's a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck. So that, I think, was one of the best little bits of fan art and stuff that has come out of the community. Totally agree with that one. As far as my own moments of the year, it's just been a whirlwind of the year. I mean, we've only had Duel Links for this year, so everything about Duel Links has been a great memory for this year. Obviously, starting this podcast was a big thing. Thanks to you for convincing me to join you and doing that, and just all the great memories of playing, some of the early innovations in the game, and just kind of discovering this whole um, IP that I just hadn't really interacted with outside of just like memes and GIFs and stuff for a long time. It's really nice to come back to it all and to have added this to my, daily gaming fix.
Yeah. I would say that Duel Links. I didn't care about Yu-Gi-Oh last year. This time last year, I wouldn't have told you a thing about Yu-Gi-Oh, other than I played it back then. That's all I would have told you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess this podcast and also playing the game, I know a lot more. I actually watched GX for fun, and I think it's really good now. So it's kind of weird. I got more into it. Yeah, and getting King of Games twice, that was good. I was never really good at Hearthstone, or I never really put like a ton of work into it. I guess that's why I never got anywhere. But in Duel Links, I was able to get the max, so it's good to get the max level in something. So that was cool.
Yeah, it's really nice to have that accomplishment. Hidden King of Games was really fun, especially that first time. It felt like such an accomplishment. Now I think the way that they've kind of done the season restarts, it feels a little bit less like an accomplishment each time. But that first one just felt so good. So I definitely appreciate. It's also just interesting to see how a different company works on a successful digital card game. Coming from Hearthstone, Konami and Blizzard have very different ways of handling their respective games, and it's really interesting as a consumer and as just a fan of game development and a fan of trading card games and all of that. It's just interesting to see it all. So it's been a whirlwind, great experience.
Great experience. Are we done here?
I was thinking we could be, unless you wanted to just really quick remind everyone what's coming up.
All right.
But I think we talked about it last time, didn't we?
Yeah. I guess I'll just bring up the new bits. The new bits are Zane's confirmed early January. We're getting a 1-year anniversary with an incredible card in January. There's a regular duel-a-thon. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is coming to the gate. There's a tag duel tournament where we're actually teaming up with a computer, so it's not like a full PvP experience. Right. We're getting a Super Chaz in early February, and the Kai Cup will be announced early February.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff to come. I'm excited. The tag duel thing, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed about that, but I'm actually kind of relieved because it makes it less messy, in my opinion.
Less people to troll you.
Yeah, less people to troll you. So there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to in the new year for Duel Links. We're just getting started.
We're just getting started, yeah. We're going to be big next year, watch. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for everyone who supported us, talked to us, and believed in us.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We're just doing this for fun. We've always just been doing this for fun and for our own interest, and it's really nice when we get some encouragement from you guys to keep doing it, when we get some interaction, when we get some support, be it monetary or through reviews and all that other stuff that we're going to get to in a sec. It just feels nice to have other people along with us on the ride. So we hope you enjoyed it and hope that you continue to enjoy it. And we'll see you guys next year.
Yep. Find us on the App Store, Google Play, Stitcher, and others. Check out the podcast and more at theduelassessment.wordpress.com. We have a YouTube channel. If you want to help support us, patreon.com/duel_assessment. Email us at theduelassessment@gmail.com. Tweet us, duel_assessment, me at Green Ranger, HS and DeckTech at HSDeckTech.
Wow, that was quick.
I tried, yeah. All right, Happy New Year, guys.
See ya.